Can you hear me?
Yes, Arnav.
Awesome. Is Varzan there or?
Yes, it's me itself. Yeah.
Hey, Varzan. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. Just give me a few minutes. I'll just switch on the cam.
Arnav, you are on mute.
Sorry, my bad. Happens always. Hey, everyone. How are you guys? How is everyone doing? Looks like you're on 45. So how is everyone doing? Good, good, great. Okay, I'm good. I'm good, guys. So, guys, let's give it another 2-3 minutes for people to join in, right? But everyone knows what's today's topic actually. Guys, I hope my voice is clear. There's no lag and all, right? Just let me know if there is. I'll switch off the video and okay, great. So web scraping, great, Ritik. So anyone has any idea about what is web scraping? Any like? Does anyone know whether it's legal or illegal? Can someone quickly say that? Is web scraping legal or illegal? Okay, that's a good answer. Great. Some sites it's legal. Okay. Any more answers? Depends on the website, right? But tell me one thing. If the website gives you an opportunity to scrape, will you not go ahead and scrape the data from there? Just asking. Wait, right? Now, there are few things which you guys have to keep in mind, which we'll talk about it. And before I think before we do web scraping, in today's class we'll go through a brief of things which will be very handy for us, right? So till that time, I'll just open my Jamboard. No, Adil, you didn't miss anything. I was just having some good time before learning times. I was just having some good time with the folks out. Okay, scraping private data is illegal. Good. So good answer actually. So people already know more about web scraping then, right? But again, since this is a community event, right? I'll keep it very basic, right? So the entire this thing is, I know some of us are already students at AlmaBetter. Yes, good. So okay, so in AlmaBetter also, so at some point of time you will also go through advanced stuffs of web scraping. If we see that the interviewers are looking more for web scrapers and all those things. So today is this thing, since it's a community event, right? We will more focus on getting our basics right, because this is how I see everything, right? Starting from web scraping, starting from data science, everything out there. If your foundation layer, if your foundation, the platform of the house itself is strong, no matter what comes and goes, your house will be kind of very uh, strong in terms of the foundation, if the foundation itself is strong. Adil, no, the answer is not scrapey. We'll go with a very basic one. Uh, that's a surprise. Let it come, Adil. So it's good to have surprises, right? If I tell you the answer right now, the surprise will be gone. Okay, cool. So we have hit 84. Good. Nice. So I was just coming to that, Abhijit. Guys, keep your, if you already have a local Anaconda, like kind of, I wouldn't say the Anaconda environment. I prefer to use Anaconda environment, but if not, then go ahead, and if you want to have the collab, yeah, collab, Google collab, please open that up. And first, you'll still get time to open that, and we will start off with a PPT first, and then we'll move on to the other pieces. Okay, cool. So just two things you have to keep handy, which is just your, I think, just your Jupyter notebook and a pen and a paper. That's it. Okay. Cool. Let me quickly get started. Praveen, I don't have my LinkedIn link handy. At the end of the class, let me see. I'll just grab it for you. Okay. Because I am not that active on any of the social medias, anyways. So cool. Let's go. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Guys, can you see my screen? So, okay, cool. So, why does this happen always? Guys, you can see two screens, is it? You guys can see two screens, is it? Okay. Now, one. Okay, great. So, No, actually, I want to get rid of this. Why does it come here? Okay, cool enough. And let me know one more thing, guys. Just a sound check. Can you guys, are you able to hear this? The video, the. A typical web page is made up of three separate pages. Now? Work together to deliver an experience for the user. Okay, great. Great. So let's start now. Cool. Uh, so first of all, welcome everyone to the web scraping in Python. So as you see, right, this is like if anyone would have seen Spider-Man, right? And everyone saw Spider-Man. And what's this? Who was this? Dr. Octavius, if I'm not wrong. Yes or no? Guys, I have a habit of telling all these things so that it stays in your mind, right? People who have heard me in my instructorship would know this, right? So I have a habit of telling all these this thing so that it's there in your mind when you are giving your interviews at that, right? So Dr. Octopus, correct? So Dr. Octavius, actually, correct. So again, he had this octopus kind of thing, right? So now the web scraping is a very similar concept like that only, right? So web scraping is like you have to be Dr. Octavius, okay? You have to be Dr. Octavius, and Dr. Octavius always used to kind of attack Spider-Man and this thing, right? He wanted to create destruction, correct? Yes or no? Right? So for you, you are not the negative Dr. Octavius, you are the positive Dr. Octavius. Okay? Think of it like that. So you have to be that spider, you have to be that spider, you have to be that scraper, right? In web scraping, I'll tell you what is spider and what is scraper so that you can collect information, right? So that means, let's say you wanted only these red blocks, right? What will you do? If you want to collect only red blocks, okay? So guys, why am I telling all this? Because having this sensical feel or a real sensical feel of all this now will help you get a good wave of how to do it in a real time web scraping also, right? So uh, so the first question is that you have to collect red blocks, okay? So before separating from each other, don't you think that you have to first understand in your brain which is red color and which is non-red color, right? That was an assumption that we know that what is red and what is not red, right? If you give it to a kid, he won't know what is red and what is not red, right? First of all, it is to find out, or it is to uh, give that intuition of what is a red block and what is a non-red, not even block. What is red and what is non-red? Next, what is a block itself, right? So what essentially are we doing here? We are trying to find out some elements that will help us identify. Yes or no? Guys, whatever I told here, did it make sense to everyone? Right? So keep this thing very much in your mind right now, right? That you have to identify some elements that helps us identify what is important and what is not. Okay, clear or not? First point. Next point, what is important? Next point you have to do is you have to make a crawler like this. You saw this, right? There are these hands. Everyone can see this, guys. So you have to make a crawler who will crawl and pick up after you have identified a kind of a crawler or kind of a hand or kind of any equipment which will go and pick when it has already identified. Guys, is this clear? Both the things? Yes or no? Any questions? Awesome. So with this, we start our web scraping. We start our web scraping this thing. So let us see what exactly web scraping is, right? So let's say this is one of us, right? This is our team. This is our team, right? So this is a web page, right? As the word suggests over here, right? It's a web scraping. I'll formalize the uh, kind of definition later on, but let's see first, right? Because once we see it through a video, it is easy to formalize at the end of the day. Correct? Now, this is one person and this is another person. They are going through a website, right? And this website allows web scraping. Cool enough. Now, they want to identify, or let's say these folks are, for example, are HR partners, right? So it's HR partners where our AB AlmaBetter team sends their resumes. Yes or no? Correct. It's the same HR partners to whom our HR partner sends our resumes. Correct. Now they want to. So let's say the way AlmaBetter sends is through a website, right? They have created a website wherein they have kept all the. Gulzar, I'll come to that. Good question. Keep it handy. I'll answer, right? So guys, this is like starting as I always say in my all my classes, right? Wait for it. Like good questions you keep on asking, right? But please, I would say wait because there are a lot of things which I have to tell before I tell whether they allow it or not. Okay, clear, Gulzar? We'll keep it. We'll park for that later on. Okay. Now, AB has built a website. Gulzar, is that okay? Now, AB AlmaBetter has made a website wherein what they do, they create a let's say they create a website or basically a link for all the students. Great enough. But the HR partners, since they are hiring for a single company, right? For a single company, what they will do? They want only the photo, let's say, right? What is the name? The full name, right? The name and all. And let's say some skills, okay? So that they can submit only these things to the company for shortlisting. Got it, guys? The use case of this, everyone got it? Right? So let's see how it does. Now, again, we were not able to get something from AlmaBetter website, so I got it from Amazon, right? So, but in the same way, it happens. So they're like, okay, searching, right? And again, so if you see here right now, right? So let's say the intention is, guys, the intention is to make such a website or a product at the end of the day. So there are a lot of products as a web scraper out there in the market, wherein you can just click on what you want to scrape, right? And you will start getting it over here. So if you see here now, right? If you click over here, do you see everything starts getting accumulated over here? Guys, can everyone see that? Right? This got accumulated over here. This is the section URL. Yes, this is parser. Right? So this is how a product, right? So this is the full-fledged product. Guys, aren't you again like feeling that you should be also able to make this product? Yes. Can you see this now? Come now. Right? So guys, everyone got to know, right, how basically a web parser or a web scraper works when made it into a product. Can everyone get a sense of that? So Adil, parser is nothing but it's a web. It's a kind of tool, you can say. It's an online tool. I forgot whether it's an online tool or a this thing, but it is an online tool that helps you scrape uh, data from Amazon websites and all, so that you can have that particular name, their URL, and how much does it. So think about this. As ParseHub is already a code written for you, you just have to go ahead and select, and you'll automatically get the particular thing. For that, you have to pay some money, right? So why to pay money? Let's try to build our own website or make our own product, right? Or how web scraping internally works is what we'll try to learn today. Guys, is it clear? Everyone? What is the intention, right? So the agenda for today's class, guys. The agenda for today's class. So there are a few more things which I wanted to just show you over here, right? So agenda for today is to understand how is it done, right? So there are different websites, and this is basically the end product which you see over here. This is that end product which you see over here, which is basically I've taken it from ParseHub, right? And it gives the entire data into a structure format. So maybe it can be a JSON payload, it can be a CSV, it can be Excel sheet, or it can be database, right? So at the end of the day, where do you want to store? Entirely depends on your business use case. Clear? So this is our agenda number 1, right? What is the agenda number 2? The agenda number 2 is basically we'll try to code, or it will be a kind of hands-on coding exercise for all of us, and we'll do a live coding also, right? We will go through 2 HTML pages. One is a local file, right? Because again, I always say this in my data science things also, right? It's easy to visualize first a 2D and a 3D, and then scale it up to a 4D, 5D, 6D. Correct, guys? Right? So it's good to work with the local file, because in the local HTML you already know what's there, right? And then see how that local file can be transformed into something. Yes, Wasim, we will use Google Colab for coding, guys. So whoever joined in late, keep Google Colab open, keep a pen and a paper open for you guys to keep a notes of all these things, whichever I'm saying. Cool. Right? So we'll do one coding on the local file and then kind of scale it up to another coding on the actual website. Okay. And the third one is we will also go through the things of where is it applicable. So just to give you, so this is the third agenda, like where is it applicable, and if time permits, I'll also give you guys some more ideas on. So someone has already told about Scrapy, right? Scrapy, and there is something known as Selenium web drivers and all those things. So I'll talk about more of that if time permits at the end of the class. Cool, guys, everyone? Okay, good question. And the answer, Swantam, is in the next slide. So let us formalize what web scraping is, right? So to answer your question in one sentence, scraping, right, is done from how things are presented in front end, right? And there is a back end that allows the front end to work, right? So we want to see what do we want in the front end, go to the back end, ask those questions, right? What are those questions? What are those questions? These are the questions. What are the elements that will help us identify? We will ask those questions and we'll get the data from backend itself. But you need both backend and front end to kind of scrape the data. Right? So to formalize our our entire web scraping. So web scraping is made up of two words, web and scraping. So let's understand what is scraping. So scraping is a technique in which a computer program, right? It's a computer program that extracts the data. So this is the most important word, that extracts data, right? Let us connect back to the things which we already did here, right? Elements that helps us identify, right? So extract what data? Extract that data which will help us identify. Clear, guys? Extract what data that will help us identify from another program, to a human readable output. Guys, got the gist of it? So it is like, guys, everyone knows what is a scraper, right? That garden scraper and all those things. Everyone knows about what is this, how the scraper looks like, right? So what do you do in a garden scraper? What do? You use that scraping, that technique, right, to scrape the, let's say, the garden soil, right? Scrape the garden soil and kind of make it more kind of fertile. Yes or no? So that seeds can grow. Yes or no? So that's what you do with the garden scraper, guys, right? In the same way, right? What you do over here is you use the scraper to get or to extract the data that helps us identify what to get from another program, which is the soil, to a human readable output, or maybe like making the soil more fertile to grow the particular seeds. Guys, is the concept of scraping clear to every one of you? Awesome. Now let's put scraping into web. Gopal, that is one of the use cases. That is one of the use cases. So yes, as a data scientist, I generally use web scraping to extract data that will be used to train our models. But as a data scientist, it is not only restricted to that. Abhishek, brief what? The scraping? Okay. So think about this as Abhishek, actually there is a full video which I'll show you. If you can wait till then, I think you will actually get a lot of ideas on that before, like wasting instead of wasting time here. Okay, there's a website. So I was playing that video now. That will actually give you the flavor of that particular piece, right? So Gopal, these are all the places, right? I have a video at the end also to show you the other use cases. So you can use web scraping for research data, right? For pricing sites, maybe search engines, right? Maybe news, right? When you want to show or YouTube, for example, right? You want to scrape data for YouTube. Now, there's another thing which I don't know whether they do it or not, but guys, have you ever felt it? Let's take a bit of a pause here. Have you guys ever felt that if there is a sale on Flipkart, there is a sale on Amazon also? Has everyone felt this, right? If there is a sale on Flipkart and there is no sale on Amazon, or vice versa, right? Don't you think that the price which you see on Flipkart, I have seen it almost all the time, the price which you see in Flipkart actually is the same price which you see on the other website? Yes, almost, right? That is the power of web scraping also. That is the power of web scraping, right? So what they do is whenever, so I think, again, Abhijit, I don't know how they do it. I've not worked with Amazon and Flipkart, but what I feel is and again, these are some of the things which is very to strategic to that company if they do it by web scraping or not, right? It's very strategically this thing. I'm just giving ideas, right? I'm just saying some ideas which might happen. I don't know whether that happens or not. Don't quote me anywhere, by the way. Otherwise, you will never know. I'll end up in jail or something. So these are the strategies which are employed by that particular organization, but can be done by the companies also. That they web scrape the data from the other website, right? And they see that okay, this is the same product. This is the same product which I'm selling. Let's say boat Rockers Pro Plus, right? And they get the same. So let's say that's 14.99 there, and the other website is selling at 15.99. They'll be like, okay, let me decrease my price. Exactly. So those extensions and all those things actually use those websites. So guys, now do you get a feel of where are the different other use cases? Got it? So whosoever had the question, I don't know who had the question. Uh, whosoever had the question, right? And I'll I'll tell you one web scraping in real term also. So if you go to Reliance, I think Reliance stores and all, like the physical stores, right? What they'll do, if the price over there is a bit more, they will be like, show me this thing on online, and they'll reduce it that to that particular price. Has everyone like came across through that, right? Now it's the same thing as web scraper. It's just that you don't do web scraping over there. You do a web scraping manually, right? Yeah, all those physical retailers, right? So the intention over there is web scraping as a manual process. You do it over there only, no? Guys, see, think about this, right? You are saying, I saw this in the website. They'll be like, okay, show me. What did you do? You actually web scraped from the data only, from the web only, no? Manually. But it's hard to do manually. That's why you have web scrapers. This thing. So, guys, now are you getting a feel of how web scraping is done? I'm talking in that way, right? You did the scraping manually and showed it to the Chroma or the this thing. Okay, good. Now, what is web scraping? So web scraping is scraping on the web instead of the garden soil, right? It's just being done by machines. Yes, it's just done by basically robots. You can make some bots. You can make some automation bots or some script which might run. RPA is more than that, but yes, I think RPA can be a part of web scripting. Robotic process automation. Okay. Web scraping is a part of data engineering? No. Shivashish, not always. Full form of RPA, robotic process automation. Automation. So to answer your question, I as a data scientist, I also do a lot of web scraping. If I need, let's say, I was making a model that time. So I work with the beer industry, right? So we wanted to understand how did the COVID affect the beer sales and all, right? What we did scrape the data from government websites and tried to understand if it affected or not. So it's web scraping. So it is not just restricted to data engineering team. Okay. So here RPA is robotic process automation. So you're automating a process. That's it. Nothing else. Mustafa, no. Again, I told you, right? Not only e-commerce you do, right? You can. So do you think these are e-commerce websites? Are these e-commerce websites? Is RSS feed e-commerce website? No, right? So, guys, it's not only e-commerce website, right? The answers are already there. The answers are already yes, Trivago, correct. Again, but you can call that as an e-commerce, right? But answers are already there in the web, in the PPT which I'm sharing, right? Web scraping is like data mining. Yeah, but data mining has a lot of other things than just web scraping. So web scraping has a so it's like web scraping, data mining. There's some intersection point over it. You can think it like that, right? Previously, you used beautiful soup and socks to extract review of one product. Yes. So wait for it, Adil. At the end of the class, I'll give you alternatives, which will actually answer your question. Okay. Is it web scraping when e-commerce offer discounts on products? Say, Gopal, again, it's a strategy. Is it a web scraping when e-commerce? Not really. It can be data, the same also that Google might give all your search data to someone else. So it doesn't do a web scraping as such, right? So web scraping is like you can think about it when you do it from some other website, not your own website, right? So when you do it in your own website, you already have a database for that. Now, why do you want to do web scraping on your own website, right? So it is always on the other's website, correct? Guys, clear everyone? Can I move on to the next one? Web scraping, this is how leads are generated. Again, you can do it. The answer to that is it is very proprietary to that particular company who does all those lead generation, right? So it can happen, right? So Mustafa fetch data in other websites so that we can perform some analysis, right? Yes, yes, correct. Adil, which video? Right, one minute. The recording, uh, recording. Varzan, question to you. Okay. So Abhijit has already answered. It gets uploaded onto the YouTube. Okay, cool guys. So let's go through some of the methods, right? So there are online services. There are some online services, correct? Through which you can do web scraping, correct? You have browser extensions. So these are those guys you were saying, right? The Chrome extensions and all, which gets those price match and all those things, right? Trivago and all those things. Guys, got it, right? Uh, Okay, can you explain in simple words web scraping like we will purchase from things, Flipkart, Amazon? So can you give example like that? Okay, so think about that. You make a program, right? You make a program wherein you have a website, right? You have a website, let's say Wikipedia, right? You have a website Wikipedia which has a table, right? You want to write a program so that you can extract this table information and store it as a CSV. Okay, so the program which you write is nothing but a web scraper. Kavana, is the example clear to you? Basically, it is used to extract data set, not data set. It is used to extract the underlying data into a data set for data science use. Right? Cool. So guys, let's move on from there. Guys, trust me, everyone in this world will use web scraping. It is just that how do you want to use that particular thing and to do what, and make sure that uh, you are adhering to all the laws. That's it. Okay, cool. So there are browser extensions, there are web scrapers, right? So there are software web scrapers. So there are some online services and there are some exe files also, right? Because let's say people or some companies don't want to use online services because they, let's say, think of it as a risk that they put all the documents or all those things which they want to do over there. So they do it by normal software web scrapers as well, right? There are some APIs that the Google, Twitter, Facebook, they allow to access their data in a structured format. So this is like, guys, don't web scrape our data, right? Don't web scrape from our website. I'll only give you some API which you can use for your own other thing. And this is exactly what we used to get Google, I think Google COVID data, right? This was very helpful to get that, right? Mihir, the SEO tools and all are away from this thing, right? So, but I think yeah, Maps Asia API, Anshu. Mihir, those things are actually taught in one of the, I think one of the courses. I think it's Intro to NLP. We do talk about those plagiarism and all those things. Okay. So I'll skip it for now because uh, that's not a part of the web scraping. Okay. The last one is basically through programming. Okay. So this is what we'll focus from now on. Okay. Clear? Everyone? Whatever we do. Okay. Cool. Now, what are the different parts of web scraping? Now we are getting into uh, going into basically things which are really important for web scraping. Okay. So there are two parts of web scraping: crawler and scraper. Okay. So crawler, guys, I hope everyone can see this, right? Should I zoom in? But the problem is when I zoom in, I can't write. Guys, it's clear. Everyone is able to see this, no? Okay, cool. So basically, crawler is like a spider. Okay, think about it as a spider. Okay, that it browses the internet. Basically, it browses the internet to search for a particular content, right? By following the links and like links and exploring, right? So basically, what you have to do is you have to first crawl a particular website, right? And kind of think about this in this way. So what does a spider do, right? What does a spider do? Spider will actually crawl to particular corner of the house, right? It will see that, okay, there is nothing over here, right? It will discover that place and start building its spider web. Yes or no? This is what the spider does in general, right? So in the same way, you have to write, or there has to be a crawler, right? Which kind of gets into that particular URL, or that gets particular into that particular, what do you say, into that particular website, discovers all the URLs that are there over there, and then pass it on to the scraper. Simple, right? So again, Google crawls the internet. Yes, you can think about it that. So that is one use of another crawler, right? But for scraper, this is the one. Clear? Everyone got a feel of what is crawler? So it's like basically a code that is written to crawl into that website, get all the information and pass it on to the scraper. Okay. Cool. Next. Yes. Think about it in that only, right? You just ask me, basically see, do one thing. It's like you request for some a web browser for something and you get the response. Think about that as a crawler for now. But crawler are very much advanced than this. I'm just saying for a very basic understanding, right? You make a program that requests something and gets a response, can also be termed as a crawler. Okay, guys, is it clear to everyone? Great. Now, what is a scraper? It's basically a very specialized tool, right? Why do I say specialized tool? I'll come to that later on. That is designed to extract the data from a web page, right? And make it as a human readable format. Okay, so this is the task of a scraper. Now, why specialized tool? Because there are a lot of reasons. Every website, now, I'll tell you some of the nuances, right? All those nuances, guys, are, I would say, a class in itself. Okay, so one nuances is every website keeps on changing their HTML codes, right? Keeps on updating their HTML code. So your specialized tool should always be adhering to the fact that the HTML codes are not changed when you're writing very basic things using beautiful soup and all. So again, okay, let me stop it here, because until unless I tell you about what those things are, telling about nuances will not make any sense, right? I did understand. Let's talk about the nuances later on. But think about this as a specialized tool. Why specialized? Because of some nuances which will come, which I'll talk about in the later times, right? That's why you have to build a specialized tool to extract the data from the website. Yes, scraper has to be different, because the way every person's fingerprint is different, every website's fingerprint is different. So that's why scraper should be a very specialized tool. You cannot make a data science model which can fit any type of data. No, you can't do that, right? You have to make a very specialized tool for that. Guys, is it clear? Everyone? Good. The next thing is, what is the what do you say? What is the steps in general? So step one is you have to target the website and define what data must be collected. So basically two things, guys. So this, the target and what data needs to be collected. Guys, can you connect this to the previous one? What data? What data? The data is that helps us identify what to scrape, right? What data must be collected. So it's the same thing, guys, right? Whatever we intuitively thought at the first stage, right? This is exactly the step one. Next thing is you have to use a crawler, right? Which will analyze the source code and then extract it, right? So this is basically your crawler or spider. Then you have to build a scraper, right? Once you have built a crawler and a scraper, you then store everything into structured data, which can be, this data can be reused. Clear, guys? The eagle's eye view of the steps which are present over there, right? So starting from these three things, right, is actually a bit more granular, that you have to make a crawler which will request, get a response, parse the data and save the data. So these are the nitty-gritty steps, right? These are the nitty-gritty steps which is present in a web scraping application. right? Anil, no. Crawler is like it searches, so it browses internet for to search, let's say for different for a particular content, right? So either you give that particular link directly, so the crawler's task gets easier, right? But it is like Google, so you give them that, okay, I want web scraping articles, you give it to the Google, right? Then it crawls the entire internet and does that. Got it? So that's the work of a crawler. But if you already give that, okay, this is the website where I want to do, the task of crawler gets easy, no? That's exactly what we'll see today. But crawler itself is a very big task. Like making that crawler itself is a very big task. Anil, did I answer your question? Crawler is like scope and gun is like scraper. I didn't get that. Akash. Crawler does the half work and rest is done by scraper. Yes. Can think about it. Again, it's not half work, half work. Both of them does the task of web scraping. That's it. There's no half and half. Right? Cool. So guys, I know. So guys, now what is a website? What is a website? Do you want to scrape? Right? What is basically, so let's say every one of us know, right? Our hand is made up of skin. Yes or no? Let's look at this, right? So if you have to scrape our hand, guys, don't go ahead and scrape your hands, right? But I'm just giving a fundamental because it will help you memorize or remember some of the things. So if you have to scrape your hand, think about it. It is made up of skin. Skin is made up of tissues. Tissues is made up of cells. Yes or no? Right? Now, if someone has to operate on a hand, let's say the scraping is nothing but operating on the hand. Okay. Now, if you do that operation, if the doctor is not well aware of how the cells work and he does the operation, do you think that the patient's hand will be intact? Yes or no? No, right? The operation will go for a full toss, correct? And that's why it's very important for us. It's very important for us to know these cells wala piece, right? That what is that element? What is that element that constitutes HTML? Clear? So, sorry, not HTML actually. What is that element that constitutes a web page? Sorry, my bad. What is that element that constitutes a web page? Clear, guys? It's a 2 minutes video. Okay. Just listen through it. I think you will be able to understand what because I took it from one of the persons from whom I learned uh, like web scraping to make my life easy as a data scientist, right? So just to understand what is HTML. Cool. So guys, let's look at this. A typical web page is made up of three separate layers that work together to deliver an experience to the user. There's a content layer for the information a presentation that can list product. Okay. One second. Your voice is not audible. Praveen, once again, what exactly? Okay, let me know if you can hear it now. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. I'm not able to see. 1 second. Guys, let me know if you can see this. Now, can you hear this? Just let me know. And I don't know what is going on wrong.
A
Now?
typical web page is made up of 3 separate layers that work together to deliver an experience to the user.
Great.
There's a content layer, or the information.
Now everyone can hear now, no? Okay, cool. Let me run it again. Sorry for the...
A typical web page is made up of 3 separate layers that work together to deliver an experience to the user. There's a content layer, or the information you see on the page, a presentation layer that handles how that information looks, and a behavior layer that lets users interact with that page. CSS, or cascading style sheets, provides the presentation layer and creates the visual style of web pages.
So guys, cascading style sheets or the CSS is nothing but how you... So think about it as making a presentation, okay? Think about it as making a presentation. Now, when you're making a presentation, there is something, the presentation format that is done by CSS, right? Next.
Using colors, typography, layout, and more. The behavior layer is handled by JavaScript.
So behavior layer is nothing but the transitions you make, right? When you're trying to make a PPT. So how will one slide go from one thing to other, right? Is, yes, CSS is more like a presentation template. Behavior is more of like a kind of an animation template, right? And yes, the back end of this thing is JavaScript.
Add interactivity to the page.
Right.
For example, popping up a larger image when a user clicks a small image. HTML, or hypertext markup language, provides the content layer and forms the structural foundation of a web page. It's the language common to every website. So if you want to build your own website, web application, or know how to edit other websites and apps, you'll need to understand HTML.
Guys, everyone clear with the 3 layers of a web page? Guys, yes or no? Okay. Now, what we are trying to show here is if one of the things, which is the HTML, right? If it is not there, how would it change, right? And why HTML is so important for
is
that.
Any text that can be displayed on a computer screen and contains links to other texts, or hypertext documents. The web is a collection of billions of documents interconnected by hyperlinks. For example, the page you're viewing right now is a hypertext document, and you most likely clicked on a hyperlink to get to this page. A markup language provides meaning to text in a document using instructions that describe how text should be structured, formatted, and laid out. So HTML is a markup language the browser uses to present information to users, like text, links, images, and videos. It's the basic component from which all websites and applications on the web are built. Let's quickly review how HTML works, what it looks like, and why we use it to structure content.
So guys, so this is a Word document. Think about this. This is a Word document, right? If we just put this into an HTML and just show it, right, it will look very different. But if we structure it in a way, it will exactly look like this.
On the web.
Let's see that.
If you've worked with a word processing program like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, you've likely formatted blocks of plain text by creating a title for the document and headings to indicate the start of important sections of content. Also adjusting the size of text and making it bold so that it stands out from other text. You may have inserted links to other documents or web pages, Or you've inserted line breaks, spaces, and horizontal lines to divide and break up sections of content. In other words, you used the program's formatting options to give the document a clear structure. HTML provides similar text formatting instructions to browsers in the form of tags called markup. So just like a Word or Google document with no formatting will look like this, a web page without HTML tags or markup would look like this.
So did you see the way that bold, the way you make extra, you give that an extra touch, an extra feel, right? HTML without actually writing those tags, or whether without writing those important this thing, might end up looking something like this. Guys, now do you see the importance of HTML? Everyone, right? Whereas if you use
Now here's
HTML,
the same
it will look like
content
this,
displayed in the browser using markup. Notice the text on the
right? So as Vijay was saying,
HTML provides similar text formatting instructions to browsers in the form of tags called markup.
yes.
So just like a Word
Yes.
or Google document with no formatting will look like this, a
But
web
without
page without
formatting
HTML
will look
tags
like
or
this.
markup would look like
Without an
this.
HTML,
Now here's the same
website without
content
HTML will
displayed
look
in the
like this.
browser using markup. Notice the text on the page is easier to scan and understand.
Guys, is this clear to everyone? Yes, Gopal. Got it. And this assisting will only help us to will help us, right, to get what we want. Guys, is it clear? Great. Now, okay. So now, okay. Okay. Would we have hyperlinks without HTML? And in today's world, everything is written in HTML. So HTML provides that feature of hyperlinking, if that answers your question. Okay. Now, what exactly? So now HTML itself is a very big topic altogether, right? So we'll not deep dive here. This is not this is not our kind of scope, right? But we have to see what exactly do we need to look within that HTML to know it, right? What we have to do is we have to understand the tag. So what you have to look for is tag, right? The attribute, okay, and the value. So exactly when you look at a particular HTML, especially for the class or to write a web scraper for data science, right? That is the entire kind of today's task, right? We have to look for three things. Actually four things, and content, right? Whichever I wrote over here. This, and these, right? So we'll exactly do the same thing when we look at some of the website and when we actually go ahead and code it. Okay. So guys, everyone got what exactly to look for when you are doing a web scraping. So this is known as a tag, which will have an opening and a closing tag. Attribute, that means is it a class? Is it a href? What is the value of that particular attribute? Is this, and what is the content that should be picked up and put for our next steps are the four things which you have to look for. Guys, clear everyone? What do you have to look for? Okay, cool. So just to show how it looks like, so there will be a HTML. So anything written within this is basically all your HTML attributes. Okay. Now there will be something like a head. So these are the different things, Meher. So again, I can't give you an exhaustive list right now, okay? Because otherwise it will be just a waste of time to go through all those tags. As I told, right, HTML itself is a very big thing. Wherever you see anything written, something within this particular thing, right, in your website or in your HTML page, I'll show you where to find it, right? I'll talk about this, where to find it in our hands-on practice, right? You have to just look for these things: h1, div, p, let's say strong, right, div, li, ul. So these are the typical things which, as a web scraper, for data science, we have to look for. So div, ul, li, right? Yes, this is a page format of HTML. This is how it looks, right? So this is like the head. Anything with written within this is the body. And let's say h1 is like a headline one, so it has some of the, so let's say the in Jupyter, right? I'll show you all of that, right? Yes, yes, Gopal, right? But guys, just get a feel of what does do the tags look like, and I'll go through exactly how to look for in uh, one of the what do you say, hands-on practice. Clear, guys? Everyone got a hang of this? I'll show you how to use it, but just get a hang of this in this particular slide right now. Right? Cool. Okay. Now let's do a step by step of all the web scraping which you want to do. Right? What are the different steps? So there are generally 6 steps. Right? First is install libraries. Right? You have to install the libraries, because what happens is most of the times, I think Google Colab doesn't have, they are not present. I've seen that, but sometimes I think right now they have started doing it or something. But if the libraries are not installed, do that. One which we will use it is Beautiful Soup, and the other one is LXML. So LXML is like a parser, you can say, right? That will get the data which is there in XML format. It will pass. This is a parser name. It will parse through this, and it will just prettify things for us, right? So prettify means it removes some of the unwanted things. So that is the use of LXML, right? And Beautiful Soup is basically making that entire thing into a soup. I'll get into that, right? But these are the uh, two what do you say, libraries which we'll be using, right? Now we have to also create a response object. That means this is my client, so this is me, right? I'm requesting for something on the server and I'm getting a response back. So this basically, whatever response you get, right, has to be given through basically a response object. Again, these are the steps. We will follow each of these steps in the hands-on practice. Yes, using post or get. Generally you do it by get only, Anshu, right? Post, you generally don't get any response as such, right? Only through get. Correct? Now you have to create a Beautiful Soup object. Now, what does it do? So let's say this is a HTML person who goes into the soup preparation. And this soup preparation, what it will do, it will get all those ingredients, right? Tag names, class names, the entire text itself, the reference tags, and all those things. Guys, getting it? What will this entire Beautiful Soup do? Beautiful Soup, using this LXML parser, it will try to get all the ingredients, or it will try to break that entire what do you say, XML things into different ingredients for us to grab the data. Guys, are these 3 steps clear? Everyone? Okay. So Anil, first of all, did you understand installation of the libraries at least? Anil? So, okay. Actually, I have a code of this. Guys, I'll show the steps first. Okay. So if you want to delve into it deeper, I have the code for it. We'll see it over there, Abhishek, Anil, if that's okay. I have a code fully for that. Okay. Just get a hang of the steps as of now. That's it. Clear? Now, what will we do is we will explore. So once we have made, okay, let me give a brief, a more detailed this thing. So this is like, this is a beautiful soup object which you have to do. So what happens is now this HTML response which we got, right? Okay, Anil, Abhishek, think of it. Let me give you an example. Think of it like a question. Think of it like a question which you ask the server and you get a answer back from it. So the request which you send is basically a question. The response which you get back is basically the answer. Okay. And what is that answer? That answer is nothing but your HTML page. What is the question which you ask? That gives me the entire source code of that HTML on which your entire web page is built on. That is the question which you send. Is that clear more? Is it more? Is it clearer? Abhishek, Anil? Okay. Now, what we do is once we get this beautiful sort of object, now we'll start exploring the HTML tree itself, right? So if you see here, we'll read this HTML page, right? And once we do the head, that means, guys, what was the head? Anything written between this was head, right? So when you tell the soup and ask for the attribute of head, right? Let me, guys, do you see this? When you ask for the um, soup.head, the attribute, because what did I tell you? The soup, it will get out all the ingredients. Now, one of the ingredients is head. Do you see everything which is written within head is coming over here? Guys, do you see this? So this is the way you have to explore the HTML tree. Guys, clear? Next is you have to extract the element which is absolutely required, right? So this dates back to our data that is required. So you have to start extracting those elements which you basically require. And once you get that, you make it into, let's say, a CSV or any structured format, and then be the artist of data science, basically. So the art and artist meme, everyone knows, right? So once you have the art, be the artist of doing the next steps. Guys, clear? Right? Now, what we will be deep diving later on. One is what is this response object, how to create this beautiful soup, and how to extract elements of the table after exploring the HTML tree. Clear? So three things we have to learn now. Yes or no? After exploring the HTML tree. Guys, everyone clear? Let's start scraping some data, right? Cool. So guys, I will have to take one short 2 minutes break and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, guys? Hey everyone, near previous page, is it? There you go. Okay. So I'll show this. Just give me a few minutes. I'll have to share one HTML code with everyone. Mm, Okay, guys, can you all get this? So I've just shared a Drive link, and it will have a home.html. Can every one of you download that and put it onto your what do you say? Put it onto your put it onto your collab, right? Oh, okay. I didn't share it with everyone. Sorry. There you go. Guys, everyone got it? Cool. Let's start. So, mm, so guys, give me a heads up when you're ready. Download the home.html and put it onto the this thing. Put it onto your collab. Okay, and I'm not sure whether that will allow that reading of HTML or not, but it's okay. If it doesn't, then I'll say that once you go back, revise this particular thing, once you go through this particular uh, recording again, just go, put it onto the local and just write a Python code on top of this. I think it should run. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't allow me to write it on the collab on the HTML. That's why I prefer writing on Jupyter, right? Cool. So the way I was saying, right, you have to do a pip install beautiful soup 4, right? And when I run it and do a pip install lxml, right? So these are the two. Right. So if you see here, it gives me that requirement is already satisfied because it's already there in my this thing. Abhishek, invalid syntax as in? So guys, can everyone do this pip install beautiful soup 4 and pip install lxml, right? For me, it will give me, okay, cool. So, and in this pip install lxml, everyone done, guys? Okay, now from bs4 import beautiful soup, right? Well, right? And then I have to do 3 import. So import requests, right? These are the 3 imports which you have to do, and import pandas as Okay. These are the three things you have to do. Cool. So once you run this, okay, so let it get time. And if you open that home.html in a web browser, no, it will show something like this. Guys, can you see everyone? If you open that HTML into a web browser, it will show like this. Okay. Now, this is how your HTML, remember, this is how your HTML looked like, correct? This is how your HTML in your web browser looked like. But if you go to the actual HTML, if you open it by Notepad++ or something, you would see something like this. Yes or no? Guys, can everyone see this? How the HTML looks like? Right? So if you see this, right, the first one, this is within that head, right? The same thing which I was saying, right? Within head, something is written, correct? This is written within the head, and this entire thing is written within the body, right? So if you see the same thing over here now, this is where the heading is written, AlmaBetter courses, right? One second. This is where the AlmaBetter courses title is written. Can everyone see this? AlmaBetter courses, right? So this is your head and this is your entire body. Clear, guys? So this is your head and this entire thing is your body part. Clear? Okay. Now, what's next? Let's look at the other one. Okay. Now, I have to get rid of this first. It's just now it's better. Cool. Now, what do we have to do? Let's say once we look at this, what we want to get from here? We want to get the three, let's say, courses or the three tasks which we will be doing: web scraping with a local file, web scraping with from an actual website, and a scalable web scraping. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get all these three things in a way that it will look something like this. Let's say it will tell course, let's say course name. Okay, then the description of it, and let's say the hyperlink. So the hyperlink text. Okay, so this is how we want. So you can think about this as a Udemy, right? In Udemy, you will have a lot of course name, the description, and the amount, let's say, right? So these are the three things you want to get or scrape from Udemy website and keep it for you yourself. Clear? So that is what we'll try to mimic over here. Guys, got the intention of what we are trying to do with the local file? Yes or no? Everyone with me? Great. Okay, cool. Now let's do the task. Now I'll see that, okay, this is within H1 tag, this is within this tag, this is within this tag. Okay, I now know. Guys, remember when I was showing you this, let me go here, right? When I was showing you this, do you see? You have to look for the tag, you have to look for the attribute, and you have to look for the value. Guys, do you see a similar thing over here? This H5 is a tag, yes or no? This is the attribute, this is the value, and this is the content. And do you see, guys, this content is actually the thing which you want to scrape, right? This is the content which you want to scrape and keep it in your table. Yes or no? Right? What will allow me to get this content are these tags, attributes, and values. What will get me to get, sorry, what will help me to get this content? So this is like an address. Think of it, think of this thing like an address, right? Where will I get hello world? At this address. Where will I get web scraping with local file? Let's say in the state of H5, in the lane or street number class, and let's say the apartment name as card title, something like this. So this entire name of where does web scraping with local file text stay or live is given within this particular state, this particular city, and this particular apartment name, right? This is how any of your parcel from Amazon and everywhere reaches you guys. Yes or no? Right? So it's exactly the same we will try to mimic over here. Clear, guys? Now, with so let's say we are doing it with the local file now. So with open home.html, right? With home.html, I want to do it in a readable format, right? As a file name, I'll put it as an HTML file. What I'm doing here, guys, I read that home.html as an R. That means I'm just reading it. I don't want to make any edit. I want to read it, right? And the file name, because I have to instantiate it as a file name, correct? Now, what I'll do is content. The entire content is basically I want to read this HTML file dot read. Okay. Now, if I just print the content over here, right? Let me see what I get. Guys, do you see the exact whatever I was seeing in HTML? Sorry, Notepad++ actually got over here. Yes or no? Right? But I don't want it in this type now. So what I got over here, I got the content, right? This is what I got, right? But I want to get the soup, right? I want to get the ingredients of the soup, correct? What I'll do a soup is equal to beautiful soup, right? Dot, sorry, not dot, it should be this, and I want to pass the content, and I want to pass the parser. Okay. So what will happen is this beautiful soup, again, if you don't know what beautiful soup has, right? So you can do every time this, right? It will say that how do you want to use it, right? Since I've used it so many times, I typically know. So what you have to do is you can do a question mark in beautiful soup. You can actually get what the attributes are. But I know beautiful soup, for the first thing which it takes is basically whatever response you got, right? And the so beautiful soup, the content which you got, and the parser which you want to use over here. Okay, Rishabh, you're saying that it is not helping, is it? Just let me run it on my, and that's why I don't like. Uh, sorry for that, but I don't like the uh, collab thing. That's the most reason I don't like collab. Doesn't allow sometimes. Sometimes it allows. I don't know. Yes. So my Jupyter file is exactly in the same place where my home.html file is. Right. Let me try running it. Exactly. Yeah. So Naved said uh, he's already told that. Guys, can anyone give me Gopal the place where he can download the HTML which I gave? Thanks, Prajwal. Cool. Naved has actually told that yes, so you cannot read directly home.html. So once you mount the drive, I think you can use this particular. Thanks, Naved, for sharing this. Guys, cool. Yes or no? Can everyone run it? I'll give some time. Did you run this? Okay. Mihir, what did I write here? Guys, be very careful when you're writing codes. I'm telling you, otherwise you'll get into this. And always one more thing is, guys, whenever you're getting an error, right? Whenever you're getting an error, try to have a hacker's mindset. In data science, if you don't have a hacker's mindset of kind of doing deep dive on your own code, trust me, it is not going to help you. Right? Always try to see, or always have that that thing in your mind. No, I have not written anything very I have not written anything which is correct. There might be something wrong, always, right? Always keep that mindset. You will be doing wonders in your this thing. I always had that thing that I always was like, man, I think I'm doing something wrong. Cool, guys. Everyone got it. Akash is he has right. Okay, great. Okay, we'll go to the. Okay. Now, when I got the soup, right? Now let me see if I now print, let's say, only the soup. Okay. Now do you see everything? It's exactly the entire soup. But the moment I put soup dot something, it will actually tell me, or if I write, let's say, the attribute head. Do you see? I only got the head from here. Yes or no? Then let's say I write title. Do you see? I just got the title. So you can write html.parser, but lxml, because sometimes what happens is I prefer lxml because some of the times the html websites are broken, right? So html.parser, there's another parser which is known as html.parser, right? So sometimes when you use that, if the html page is broken, it will throw an error. xml takes care of that. That's why lxml, right? So guys, do you see, if I just write head, I'll just get this, right? But within that head, if I want to write the title, did I get this? uh, Akash, can you just share the code which you have written in collab? Thank you. Soup and content, it will look same now, but think about this. You cannot write content.head. It will throw an error. But you can actually write soup.head. Got it? Puneet, right? Because what it has done, it has taken that entire HTML. So it has taken this entire HTML and it brought out all the ingredients from this. Okay, guys? Yes or no? Okay, now let's proceed ahead. Okay. Now, let's say So guys, do you see that there are a lot of H5 over here? Yes or no? Guys, can you see a lot of H5s? Correct? What you have to do is, if I have to find out now the H5s, right? So soup dot H5, if you write, I'm just writing it for now. Do you see you just get the first H5, which is web scraping of local file? Yes or no? You didn't get the other ones, no? You just got the first one? Yes or no? Right? Why did that happen? Because whenever you write a dot H5, right, it will just go ahead and stick wherever it found the first H5. So how you can get this also, right? There's another web this thing. You can write dot find and write the tag name over here. It will give you the same answer. Okay. If you write soup dot H5, you'll get this. And if you write soup dot find H5, you'll get the soup dot find and H5, you'll get the same thing. Guys, did you see? If you write soup dot H5, you'll get the same. Guys, do you see this? Right? So this is one way of how you find out the tags. Guys, I told you, right? In order to find where that person is staying, in order to find that address, you have to find the first the city or the state name. This is how you find the state name. Clear? Everyone? Right? Now, my main task, guys, yes or no? Quickly. We don't have much time now. Okay. Now, if you have to find out all the H5, because I got only one H5 now. If I have to find out all the H5, just do this. Underscore find all. Guys, everyone got it? Like everyone can run the code and see if you get that. Okay, now let me say, I'll just put it over here. Yes. Now, so what did we do exactly here? Things we got, right? So find gives you only the first tag. Yes. Find all gives you the list of the tags you are searching for. Yes or no? Right? Now, another important thing which we want to do over here. What did I miss? This. Now, do you see something very crude in this? The entire class, this thing is coming, na, guys? The entire this thing is coming. Yes or no? Code in number 10. This one. Gopal. So this is like I'm opening that HTML file as a read file, and I'm getting that file, like the instance of the file as HTML file. I'll read the content and I'll store it over here. That content will be passed through this parser, which is LXML parser, through Beautiful Soup, so that I get all the ingredients. And when I see that ingredient, if I want to understand the ingredient, that what constitutes head, this is what constitutes head. What constitutes the body? This constitutes the body. What is the H1 in the body? This is the H1 in the body. Clear? Gopal? Ingredients are basically these things. These are your ingredients. That's what I was saying here, right? This is your ingredients, right? This is your ingredients, elements. Okay. Now, once I've done this, what else I'm left with? This one. Okay. What I was saying is, guys, do you see that you get the entire tag over here, everyone? Right? If I have to only get this, then I'll do a text. Find dot. Oh no, it won't find. So if I get only one of them, right? Again, dot text will not happen for list. If I get the first one, right? If I get only one and I write a text of it, guys, everyone can see I got the text out of it. Guys, do you see this? Right? Now, over here, dot text will give you the content. Clear, everyone? Right? Now, let's say I write this particular code. Okay. Now I know I copy pasted it, but I'll go through each of them. Guys, till here everyone is clear? Right? Now, when I did a find all, this is basically a list, no, guys? If I do a type of this will be a list. It's a result, actually it's a list. Okay. Now, it's kind of a list only. So this is the same thing which I did, right? Now my main thing is over here, I want to get this. Yes, find and find all are all method of beautiful soup library, right? Now, if you see over here now, this particular piece, right? One second. This is with the div and the card. Okay. Guys, do you see one thing? So if I see this part, right? This part and this part, all of them are kind of repeated, right? If you see this, sorry, my bad. This one, right? This one and this one are very similar to each other, which is written within the div class card. Yes or no? Right? Now what I'll do is I will find all the div with the class attribute and the card as the value. This is what I did here. So find all div and the card, because over here only, if I ask for h5, I'll get the file name. Yes or no? If I ask for the div class with the card header, I'll get Python. Yes or no? Right? So what I'm trying to say is this. So let's say I'll run this first. Individually we'll run. Guys, do you see this? This is one. Where did it end? Just a second. This is one, right? This is two, and this is three. Can everyone see that? All the three lists are coming over here. Because now, once you have that three list, and when you iterate over each of the list, correct? You can start scraping these answers from here. Yes or no? Once you do a find all, let's repeat it again. Once you do the find all, right? Div, you get these three, this one, and this one. Correct? And remember, what were we looking for? We wanted to get the course name, right? The description, and basically, let's say the link, hyperlink, basically. This is what we were asking for, right? This is where I'll find point number one, description. This is where I'll find, and this is where I'll find three, correct? And where am I finding all of these three things? Within this div class, within this div class card. Now people can say that, Arnav, why not we can write class as card body? You can write it, right? But had we had to get this Python also, let's say this is Python 1, this is Python 2, this is, let's say, Python 3. If you wanted to get that also, one level on top of that would have helped in getting it. Clear? Guys, repeating it again, if we want to scrape this, this, and this, we will find it within this particular div body, right? We'll find it over here, right? So this is the card. Within this, you have this. Within the same another list, you have this. Within another list, you have this. Got it? Guys, clear? Everyone? Clear? Okay, cool. Now, let's quickly go over on this, right? Now, once I get that, so I'll iterate it for all the list items in the tags list, right? And what will I store? I'll have course name, course detail, and I'll keep printing it every time. Let me see what happens, right? Guys, do you see this now? Right? You got this printed over here. Guys, yes or no? Sure. But guys, when you're copy pasting this code, at least did you guys get to know what it is doing within this? Yes, no, guys. Good. Now, you'll be like, Arnav, I will never have this HTML code with me. How we are getting the course detail? It's through the P tag. Na? If you look over here, this is where you will have it na? In the P tag. So what do? Course.p.text. Where will you have the course name? In the course.h5.text. This is what we were trying to do here also. Na? When we have this dot text, you only get the text out of it. Clear? Guys, yes or no? Quick. No, that's where I was going into. So now you will be like, Arnav, what if I'll never have this HTML code with me, right? Where will I get it? So this is how you get it. This is how you get it. Right click, inspect. Do you see whatever you had in the HTML is actually here? Guys, do you see this? Everyone? This is where you have the entire HTML. And this is where you have to reference going forward, because you will never have the HTML thing over here. Guys, is the simple thing now clear? Right? Yes or no? Mobile, I typically prefer mouse, So I'm not a very fan of shortcuts because I have to work in 2, 3 different laptops. One is a Mac, sometimes Linux, sometimes Windows. So I prefer my mouse, right? So I'm not sure whether it's F12 or something. You guys can try it. Okay, guys, yes or no? So is this easy, everyone? Home.html. Instead of easy, my question should be: was this clear enough? Was home.html web scraping clear enough or not? That's my question. Okay, great. Now let's go on to a real world use case, right? So I don't know whether I get to. Okay, so this is a Times Job website, right? So the thing is, I think only Times Jobs allows, right? So to answer some of the questions, right? So there is something known as robots.txt files, right? This is where so this is basically a robots.txt file. For every this thing you can ask for, let's say, robot.txt times jobs. I think this is where I get, right? So robots.txt files, you can go onto the robots.txt files, wherein you will have the strategies or allowance that whether you can actually web scrape that data or not, right? So it's robots.txt where you can get, and plus always our thing is, if you're doing something professionally, right, there should be a MOU signed between your organization and that organization that you are going to web scrape their data, right? There's always a MOU which is signed. Again, I think that's why Amazon never web. MOU is memorandum of understanding, right? So that's always should be signed between the companies if they want to web scrape the data, right? But for educational purpose, I think Times Job allows. Yes, it's illegal to scrape data if you're going against their this thing. I'll tell you also now. See, if how many participants are here? 81. 81 of you starts web scraping this particular Times Job data every second. Don't you think the website will go into a heavy load? Because it will assume that all 81 folks, every second, they're trying to access the particular website. Don't you think the load will start increasing? And that's why it's illegal to scrape data. Okay. Now, if you want to like scrape the data, let's say for educational purpose, guys, I'm telling you time and again, please do not web scrape data every second, every this thing, until and unless you are doing it professionally. Once in a month, once in 2 months is okay for educational purpose, right? So that's a disclaimer which I want to give before starting off any of the next things, right? Cool. Now, this is where this is basically a scraper, right? Now, if I want to find out, guys, where did it go? Yes, everyone can see the screen, right? The other local host as well. Guys, do we want to do everyone up for doing this, right? I'll take a few more minutes, more than 3:30, I guess, right? Uh, so I hope everyone is ready. Right? Cool. So to answer someone's question who's asking this thing, right? So I think you can do times jobs India. Can go. I think it is somewhere over here. I've not used robots or TXT for a long time because we generally work with this is where you can allow scraper or something. So this is where I think you can get. So I think they have changed it a bit. So you cannot. So there is something. Let's say it doesn't tell anything about uh, scraper, right? Nothing about scraper. So you have to just look over here whether scraping is disallowed or not. That's it. Uh, Mustafa, got it? Where can you find the robots.txt? Okay, cool. So now again, we'll do. I'll quickly run it again and restart the system. There's one code I thought I'll write it, but I think there were so many good questions that I was not able to write. My intention was to write it on my own, right? So there will be another installation which you have to do is I think pip install request if you don't already have it, right? Now this request, right? The get method which I was saying, right, is exactly the same thing what you were doing with open. Guys, remember in this open this thing, right? You were doing it with open, right? But here you will do it with request.get. What is the request? It's basically nothing but this URL is where you have to scrape, right? This is the URL which you have to scrape, guys. Yes or no? Right? So, by the way, I'll share this particular Jupyter notebook with every one of you so that it's there. But right now, let's just see. So now once you print that HTML, guys, do you see the same HTML, right? When you printed something like a content over here, remember? When you printed a content over here, you got this, correct? Similarly, when you print the HTML text, you get something like this. Yes or no? So as you can, I think, just check if you can access this. There's a Google Drive, but I think I don't have the latest file over there. I'm not wrong. I'm not sure because today morning I was changing something at the very fag end, right? Uh, at least you'll have all of these. The last few things might not be there, which is okay, right? But later on you can, but I'll upload all this exact data file onto that. Guys, got it? When we printed the HTML text, it is nothing but exactly printing the content of the HTML content. Clear, everyone? Right? Now, what I'll do is the HTML text, I'll pass it through the beautiful soup in the same LXML format, right? And I'll say soup.prettify. So in prettify, actually, if you do the soup wala piece right over here, I'll show you one. If you do the soup wala piece, everything is like a one line. If you see, right? Everything is one line. Yes or no, guys? But the moment you write over here, prettify, you'll see it exactly like beautified view of it, right? So that's the task of prettify. Okay. Now, this is the code which has to be written over here. Okay. Not this actually, this one. This is the code which you have to write. Indentation in the XML, well formatted. Yes. Okay. So if you run this particular thing, what it will do is it will take 10 pages, it will scrape the data and put it into the format of company name, skills required, when was the job published date, and what is the link to apply. Guys, do you think that if you get something like this every month, it will be really helpful for you, right? That you can start applying to the jobs outside there in the market, right? So this is what we have done. So it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. Over here, what I've done is there is a page number. So if you go through this particular website, uh, if you look at this website, right? If you These are the two pages, right? So this is the only thing which changes over here now is the sequence equal to 4 and sequence equal to 3. So this is the third page and this is the fourth page. Okay. So once you have this thing as 3, right? And you make it as an iteration like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You can scrape it for all the data. So that's what I've done for page from starting from 1 to 10th. The 10th page, I'll keep getting the this particular request or the content of that particular page and put it into a beautiful soup. Yes or no, guys? These two lines are clear. Guys, these two lines are clear. Yes or no? Right. Next, where will I find all these jobs? Where will I find all these jobs? So I have to click over here. So just think about this. I have to click on these names now. So just click and do a inspect element. Okay. So now where do I see this exactly? Now this is this. So if you guys, if you just keep scrolling on top of this, now do you see that it starts highlighting the particular whatever it means, right? So that means this AHRF is nothing but this particular thing, correct? This is only that particular block. Guys, do you see this? If you don't have to even click, you have to just hover on this, right? Just hover on this and you'll see that this is the block. This is an entire block. Do you see, right? That green piece, right? Now, where is this present exactly? It is present under this UL class new job list. Guys, can you see this? Yes or no? Right? Now, I have to find out all the, okay, by the way, this is present over in all the LI. Do you see now all the LI class is basically 1111 job description, right? Within UL, within LI, do you see all of them are basically one job listing each? What you can do? And best part about this, all the LI class are basically same. Do you see this? Now that is like a treasure for you. Correct? So sometimes what happens is people have different LI class, they can put it, their wish, right? But here, this is the treasure for you, that if you do a find all of the LI class, you will get all the blocks. Yes or no? You'll start getting all the blocks. Guys, right? So this is exactly what I did over here. I did a find all of the jobs, right? And for each of the jobs in that particular, so this jobs is nothing but list of all these blocks, right? Now I'll do a for loop in each of the blocks. So this one, then this one, then this one, right? And I'll start getting the company name, correct? So I'll tell you how to get the company name, the skills, the job published date, and the more info. How did I get the company name? Where will I find the company name? Okay, I have to see this, right? Again, this is the company name, right, guys, everyone? Right click, inspect. Do you see this? It's basically in the H3 and the class is job list comp name. Find H3 and job list comp name. Right? And why did I do this? Why did I do this? Because if you run this now, if you run this, if I don't do this, right? That's it. Let me just run it and show you. Maybe I'll not run it for 1 second. I'll not run it for all the 10 pages. Let me run it for one. Okay, if I don't replace that, so guys, you have to do it on your own. Arey yaar. Do you see /r/n? No, it is just to remove that, because somewhere you will see actually /r/n. That's why. So in order to remove that, I replaced that /r/n. That's why. Guys, do you see this everywhere? Sometimes where it might be written HR placement jobs, and then more jobs in the next line, you will actually have a /r/n. So in order to remove that, I kept this. That's the only thing, nothing else. Guys, got it? Yes or no? Where will I find the skills? Okay, that's another challenge. So these are your key skills, right? Right click, inspect. Got? Where did you get the key skills, right? But I'll get the key skills actually here. Yes or no? In the span class name SRP skills, right? Span SRP skills. This is how I start getting it. Gopal, I actually shared it earlier, no? Guys, you didn't get it, kya? Vijay, I'm not very sure where you can see the recorded video, unfortunately. Barzan, where can the students see the recorded session? If you can answer.
Yeah, guys. So it will be present on your dashboard in the community section. Okay.
So, guys, everyone got the answer? Cool. Thanks, Barzan. So, guys, everyone got it now? How to find the skills, how to find the job publish date, right? How to find the job publish date? Just click on this, inspect. Very easy, guys. But it's very easy to do once you know how to, or once it's like once you know the trick of it, it's simple for you, right? The only thing is getting the trick of it. Got it? So now this is where you get it, right? Top JD DTL, and this is where it is. Okay, great. And this is 2 to 7 years. Okay. Now where am I finding it? Where am I finding it? In the sim posted, right? Over here, I think that's sim posted. Just a second. And my eyes are gone. Where is the sim posted? Oh, achha. Sorry. I have to look here. My bad. Right? So this is where it is, right? Span, sim posted. Now, if I have to understand how many years of experience, how would I have written it? I would be like, okay, in the UL, in the list category, in the I, the class name is material icons. Okay, let me write it. So let us see if we can make another this thing, right? Just give me 1 minute. So it's like experience, right? And I'll write I and material icons. So guys, I'm just trying to do it. I then materials icons, right? Guys, you got right what I'm trying to say over here, correct? So this is how I start getting my experiences also. Clear? Yes or no? Right? And now the moment I run this, right? Just give it some time because it does 10 pages all in one go. Now it ran. Guys, now do you see all the DF10 pages over here? And the best part is if you make a word cloud out of it, the best part is, man, why isn't it coming? Do you see what are the key skills you have to go through? Guys, yes or no? So this is the all the skills required. Now this will be like my syllabus, right? That I have to focus on advanced analytics, Python, data entry. Of course, this is the thing of data science. So that's why I'll get data science, business, SQL, data analyst, and everything. Got it? So Gopalji, good question. So why aren't we using find all for the company names? Because you have to think about it from a scalability standpoint. Gopal. What you can scale is basically this thing, right? This li class, because this is everything. So whatever is written within this particular block is kind of repeated everywhere, right? Quite possible that whatever each person has might have written over here might not be that scalable. So wherever you find the piece of scalability, that's where you should be fixing your find all. Think of it like that. Got it? Right? So guys, now this is that art and artist piece. So one thing which I told, right? This will give you what exactly to kind of focus upon. So you see Tableau, you see data science, data entry, SQL, analyst, right? Data analysis, all those things, right? Visualization data. Now, these are all the things for the top 10 things which I'm having. These are the most sought after skills in the field of if you want to apply for data science. Got it? So yeah, that was pretty much it from my side, right? So there's another this thing where I've tried to get it from URL like a Wikipedia, a table basically. So if I want to show this, right? So you guys can go through. So it's already there in that Jamboard. So this is a Wikipedia page, and I wanted to get, let's say, which one? The last GDP, right? 2019. I think this one is it. No. Yeah. This GDP data, I was trying to use it for some of my projects. I tried to get this particular thing using web scraping, which I've done it over here. So guys, do you see this? Cool. Everyone? So that's pretty much it, guys. So any questions? Any questions, guys? All good, everyone? Pop-up coming every time. I didn't get that, Manish. Pop-up coming every time. No. When I'm doing a scraping, no, it doesn't. So guys, you have to think also it in this way, right? Some of the website doesn't allow doing a web scraping. I think Naukri doesn't allow doing. That's why they have put a pop-up every time you try to web scrape, or they'll tell that you have to be a human, like you have to do a captcha thing while doing it. So you have to be wary about if you're using it on Naukri. So then there are other things like as I was telling, right? There's no more time left, but you can actually avoid that by using Selenium. So Selenium is basically a web driver. So it's a exe file which you can download, which will mimic the human, what do you say, human this thing, correct? That I click on this, I click on this, I click on this, and that way you can actually scrape the data. So that is Selenium. Scrapey is more of an advanced thing than Beautiful Soup. So my suggestion to every one of you is go through Beautiful Soup, try to understand what happens in the scraping data, and then move on for Selenium and other things. Right? Yes, I know it was kind of, again, this is more of getting you that hang of it. Once you get the final, I think once you get the recorded session, 2-3 times practice, I think it will be great for every one of you to do it. Right? Cool, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope every one of you enjoyed the session. And if there are any questions, someone asked for my LinkedIn this thing. Right? Awesome. Thank you, everyone. If no more questions, then I'll see you guys around in your respective cohorts in some of your, I would say, in some of your as an instructor as well. Cool. Thanks, guys. Varzan, over to you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So if no more questions, we can wrap it up. All right. Great. All right, Arnav. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you. And stay safe, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.